What is going on, everybody? This is Dylan with Dylan Talks Tone, and this is your weekly gear news update. Do me a favor, hit the subscribe button, the like button. If you like guitar stuff, I know you do, that's why you're here. We're going to talk about some new gear stuff. If you're wondering why the view is a little different this week, it's because we have like 100 pickups on the table, and this is a standing desk, and I didn't actually raise it up this week, so that's why it looks a little different. Anyway, we're super busy. If you want to know more about pickup stuff, there's a link in the description below. Dylan Talks Tone. You can buy pickups. That's what we really do here. Anyway, let's get on to some news. Okay, so last week or the week before, we reported on Western Electric. It's a company in Georgia, right here in Georgia actually, that makes tubes. And to address this whole tube shortage, quote unquote, thing that might or might not be going on, they said, maybe we're going to make some tubes in the United States. What do you think? And they put a survey on their website and stuff. Apparently that went really well. They announced this week that they're going to move forward with that. We'll just have to see how long it takes them to get a good tube that we can actually use and works in a guitar amp. It's harder than it looks, as well as for a cost that guitar players are willing to pay. So that's an interesting thing. So we'll just have to kind of keep an eye on that and where that goes in the future. German pedal maker KMA Machines has a pedal called the Worm, and it's basically the the HM2? Yeah, so like the heavy metal, the Boss heavy metal, but it's their version of it. They had one before, they updated it, they changed the format a little bit, made it easier to put it on a pedal board, changed the jack location, did some other things as well. This pedal has the same kind of basic controls that an HM2 would have, but then there's a couple of little extras here too that have been added in this revamp. One is a switch that gives you a little bit different profile, kind of KMA's version of what they think the pedal should sound like. So that's kind of cool. Gives you a little switchability. And the pedal is pretty reasonable. It's under $200 for a very cool looking and apparently very cool sounding HM2 derivative. These practice amps have been going nuts lately. The space where the practice amps live, there's just tons of them lately. Fender has released a G20 Frontman. So it's an 8-inch Fender-ish, the Fender speaker. They make their own or label their own or whatever. In a little Fender black panel looking little amp. And it's a 20-watt solid state little dude. It's got headphone and line in and all the things that normal little practice amps have. It's right in the $110, $120 area. So probably in comparison or competition with like the little Orange Crush little dude too. So again, practice amp space, pretty thick right now. A lot of cool, fun stuff to try. A couple weeks ago, you'll remember we said something about the Boss delay pedal that had been leaked on eBay or whatever, based on the old Space Echo. What is it? The RE20 or something, like the big, huge one. So they came out with two different ones, actually. The RE202, which is another big version, has a bunch of knobs on it, does all the things probably that the old one does, only better and cleaner. You know how all that goes. And then a miniature version, not a miniature version, but a regular Boss size version called the RE2 to put on your pedal board as well. Probably a little bit stripped down, not as many features, but still works on a pedal board. You've probably seen a bunch of videos about this already. I'll leave links to them in the description. If you're a delay person, you're definitely going to want this. I will tell you too that I have the DL4, the Line 6 DL4 Mark II, should be here tomorrow, I think, something like that. So we're going to be playing with that as well. I love delay pedals, and I currently don't have like a dedicated delay, so it'll be kind of fun. Kind of shreddy, metally Solar Guitars has just come out with 3 new baritones. I think these are 27-inch scale baritones. The crazy thing about Solar guitars is they're like $1,249, $1,300, something like that. Actually, the V that's in this, so you've got this like pointy explorer-y kind of thing, you got a V sort of thing, and you got a single cut sort of thing. The V is under $1,000. I think it's like $850, something like that. The reason the other two guitars are a little more expensive is because you can get them with Fishman Fluence pickups. You can also get them with an Evertune bridge. So for $1,249 with an Evertune, that's insane because Evertunes are expensive. So this is interesting. If you want a baritone guitar and you're on a budget for a baritone guitar, this might be a cool option for you. Strandberg has partnered with the Australian prog rock band and, well, more specifically, guitar player Plini to come out with a new model. His new model has a Richlite fretboard, actually, mahogany neck, a 20-inch radius because, prog, of course, it doesn't have a peg head because it's upside down. It's a Strandberg. I almost bought one of these when I was at Sweetwater last year just because I think they're so cool and wacky. Anyway, if prog is your thing, look further into this guitar. There's actually a couple of new models, a couple of different specs that you probably care about if you're really into this prog stuff. Looks like the Plini edition is $26.95. We've seen over the last year or two, couple years anyway, Gibson doing this thing. Actually, all these guitar builders doing this thing where they have a model come out in a really, really expensive version first. It happened most recently with the Theodore, where it's mostly basically a custom shop thing. And I think they do this to kind of test the market and see how interested people are. And then they bring out a more affordable version of it. Well, this has most recently happened with Gibson's Adam Jones version. Obviously, the Tool guitar player has had this custom shop version that's like, I want to say it's like $6,000, something like that, right in that area. And I think you can get a relic one for, what is it? It's closer to 10 or 12 or something. It's really expensive. The custom shop one did very well, which I think they kind of always do. So then they came out with a version that is quote unquote more affordable. You might not think so because for some reason, when I bring up Gibson, everybody flips out because everybody thinks everything's too expensive. But this one is $29.99, which makes sense because that's right in line with a bunch of their other actual regular Gibson models that are signature models, such as the Slash stuff. So a couple $100 more than a regular one makes sense for the artist premium that usually is built into that. $29.99 kind of makes sense. However, the guitar is different. The neck is different. The inlays are different. Instead of having block inlays, it has regular trapezoid inlays. The pickups are different. So instead of having custom shop pickups and a Seymour Duncan, I think, these are going to have Gibson pickups in them. So the guitar is a little bit different than the custom shop one, but that would also make sense that they would use Gibson off-the-shelf parts to make something that falls more in line with the regular brand pricing. So I kind of get it. This is a really cool guitar. I know a lot of people have really wanted it, and it's kind of now, if you think about it, an more accessible way to get that late 70s, early 80s silver burst that he has been known for and that a lot of people really like. So this could be a base of a guitar that is not otherwise affordable these days for a lot of people. So I think it's kind of cool to put that silver burst down into that regular Les Paul range and not custom shop only. Very cool. I know many of you won't agree with me on that, but I just think it's a very cool thing for them to do. And I'm stoked that a lot of these guitar builders, guitar brands are doing this, coming out with a custom shop one first, testing it, and then giving everybody a shot at it. Make sure you check out our live stream at 8 o'clock Eastern time on Thursday. We'll probably do another live stream this weekend on Saturday or Sunday, we have a bunch of stuff going. We're actually going back up to Casino Guitars to North Carolina. We're going to hang out with them this weekend. I don't know what content is going to come out of that. Make sure you check out the podcast and the podcast channel. There is links to all that below. We had B.A. Ferguson guitars on this week, and I have a very special one if I can get it edited in time for next week that I think you're really, really going to dig. So thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you soon.